Hey guys, Ruben here from TGE, and a member from the free community wrote out saying that they lost $148,000 worth of just trading options, and so they said, "Hey, Ruben had turned 75K to 150K, um, lost it all down to 2K trying to rebuild." I was like, "Oh my god, okay, that's a lot of money to be lost, all right, into trying to rebuild it from 2K." That's difficult, okay? Um, and the first thing that pops to my mind is that oversizing. I've seen it time and time again. I used to run a what do you call it? A like what's it called? Like a trading journal, but it kind of spat out whatever, like what were your best trades, what did your position sizing look over time, and the majority of the time that I saw, oversizing has been the number one reason why traders fail, because at the end of it, it's all about survivability. You're going to have trades that go right, trades that go wrong. And so a lot of trades that I saw, folks were like sizing in like 20, 30K in one position, they would lose. And then the next size, because I guess they got so scared of what happened to them, they would go in like at $1,000 or $500. And then they would win that like 120%. But like it doesn't offset the P&L from the original loss, right? And so that's always the number one reason. And I see it time and time again. Folks get spooked because they oversize. They just don't have a concept of like how to size in properly, right? And so in here, I said that the problem is taking on too much risk. And if you're trading within 25K, so anything for me, anything below 25K is a small account. Honestly, a big account is like six figures and above, but 25K to like 100K, that's a pretty sizable account. You can get a margin account with by then, and you could do a little bit more. But once you start hitting the 25K marker, if you have an account of 25,000 or $75,000 or even more, like 100, $250,000, you need to start sizing in like no more than 1 to 2% per trade. And I state that fact. And I said that in fact inside TGE Max, which is the private community that I run and coach people on, I tell people to start as low as 0.5% per trade. Yeah, so okay. So when I go into TG, like I always write them out here. We have a private Telegram group, and I'm always going in with like the size that I'm going in, because I have a big account. I'm running a six-figure account. I can't afford, and I'm not going to afford to lose, 3%, 5%. I know some folks used to say don't do more than 10%. That's like ludicrous. Okay, never go into a position size by more than like 10%. It should be no more than 2-3%. And 3% or 2% is because you feel really, really good about the trade that you're in. It's like this meets all the parameters and this is gonna go. Okay. And even then, 2 to 3% is like we're doing leap options. Okay. So it should be no more than 1%, in between 1 to 2, sometimes 0.5% if we're really trying to trade like shorter expirations, like 2-3 months out, maybe weeklies. Like it should be 0.5% or pretty small. Okay. But everything is about like the game of trading is probability. Like it's about taking as many shots as you possibly can to be profitable by the end of the month. At the end of it, you're just trying to be profitable month over month. Even if that means 1%, 2% P&L increase, like that's the objective. Okay. And remember, 90% of folks cannot do that. And I think the first month or two, like the number is ridiculously high, why retail traders fail. So okay, so yeah, so I make all my TG Max members start as low as 0.5% per trade, because they're learning how to do the research, they're learning what to look for. Like they're kind of in training wheels at that point. And so all the members, even I have members that have $3 million accounts, $50,000 accounts, $100,000 accounts, $250,000 accounts. I make them start small because they're learning. They don't know. And once they start becoming really, really good, then like after 6 months though, okay? Because it takes a while to like not just know the strategy, but be comfortable in taking your own trades, okay? And so, I have them size very, very small so it doesn't affect their P&L. Like they're not gonna be like, oh, like this isn't working, right? Like I'm losing all my capital. Like we don't want that. We want consistency, and then we'll start teaching you like how to allocate your capital, but depending on the volatility levels in the market. So that's a different strategy. But okay, then I said, because here's the truth: we don't know where price is going, and that's true. We Everything that I teach inside TGE in general, whether it's in the free community or in the max tier, like everything is a probability. We don't know where price is going to go. We utilize option flow. We utilize the Greeks, the option premiums, to give us a range, to give us a like let us know where the layout of the room is, right? But we don't know what's in the way of the room. Like let's say we're in a dark room and it's a dark room, and if you don't have like math on your side, if you don't use like probability and statistics, it's like you don't know what the layout of the room looks like in the first place, right? But when you use these tools and this concepts and theories, then it's like, okay, you have a little candlestick that's flickering, right? And then you can see the layout of the room, but you can't see the details, right? You don't know if there's a table in the front of the way. You don't know if there's like a chair or whatever that can get in the way of you getting from the one side of the room to the other side of the room. And so that's what it is, right? That's what trading really is. We don't know. We're just when we're taking a trade, we're like, this is the discounted price of future price, but we don't know what future price looks like. We just try to like get all the data and use the numbers to give us an idea. Okay, we make educated hypothesis, but at the end of the day, options are a zero sum game, and that's because all options go to zero if you have them out of the money. So it's either you make money or you lose money. So it's defined risk most of the time, depending on the strategy. But if you get really far out of the money and it doesn't hit in the money, then you risk, your $2,000 position, $10,000 position going to zero. Okay, one bad position sizing can wipe your account, which is very, very true. Like I've seen it time and time again. So it's just about having enough. What's the saying? Taking enough swings, right? Just take enough swings, and you'll see that like as long as you have a solid strategy, a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio strategy, you can have a 30% win rate and still be profitable or break even. So it's all right. You need enough at bats to hit home runs, which means position sizing is survival tool. So right, that's the only thing we can control. We can't control the market. We can't control price. We can only control our risk management. So really, really important. So I say if you have more than 25K, stick to 1 to 2% per trade. More like 1%. You should really do 1%. Set daily drawdown limits. So no more than 3% per day loss and 5% max. So what I mean by that is like I said, if you hit that, step away, sell everything, reset, reevaluate. At that point, 3%, if you lose 3% of your account, let's say you have $100,000 account and you lose 3%, $3,000. It sucks, but you're not gonna be like shit, it's the end of the world, right? Like you'll live. So it's really like, okay, so if you lose 3%, like you should stop trading, right? Now there may be a time where you lose 5%, and that could be pretty significant at that point. 5% is 5,000 out of 100, right? Out of $100,000. That's when you need to like step away and just sell everything and like you need to reset and reevaluate and go like figure out what went wrong. Did you focus? Did you oversize? Like what's going on that it led to 5%? Okay. If it's like one trade took me down to 5%, that's really bad, right? It goes back to the same problem where it's oversizing. And if you're willing to take 5% on one, like if it takes you down 5% on one single trade, more than likely you're way too oversized, and that could be a problem. So again, once you start having these bigger account sizes, you really need to try to set these rules and follow them. Oh, I know, you know, it's like tempted to be on the hopium game, but it's not worth it because it can bite you. It can really damage your account. Okay, so you don't want that. Okay, now I said like this gentleman or this individual lost $148,000, and now he's trying to rebuild from 2K. Okay, so a 2K account is tough, but not impossible. Okay, and the reason I say it's not impossible is because one of my TG Max members, he netted a. Let me see if I can find it. He started with a $1,700 account. He joined TG Max and started with a small account of $1,700, and now he is now he turned that $1,700 account just swing trading leaps and options, and then also some short term like what did I say 2-3 months out, so 60 to 90 days of expiration. He turned it into over 25K in 6 months. So it just goes to show it's not impossible. Okay, and today he is making $1,200 on a day on Lily. You know, so it's not impossible. You just have to be more patient now, right? And you just have to know, like, you just have to have a sound strategy, okay? Not just like concepts and theories, but also when it comes to like actual trading, you have to be able to control your emotions and be able to take base hits and compound over time. And that's what he did. Like, it's nothing crazy. It's not day trading. We're like swing trading stock, like options and stocks, and we're just trying to take our base hits and then also have our risk management intact. Okay, we got to follow that. So it's not impossible. I said focus on leaps, contracts that is 1 year out in TGE Max. Anything less than a year is short term. And I know most people are gonna be like, holy crap, like 8 months out of expiration, that we're not gonna make money. Like, believe me, you're gonna make a lot of money with leaps, and even further out. Sometimes we have had leaps where like they've hit 150% return, and it's amazing. Like at that point, the delta is so high, you don't care about like high returns and like high percentage returns because you're collecting more premium upfront with leap options. So they're honestly a cheat code. If you prefer short-term swings, yeah, I say go 3-4 months out. That's what we typically do. One good trade at a time, okay? Because you're starting at 2K again. Like at this point, you don't want to oversize. It's about taking enough swings, right? Enough swings. So focus on a trade, and then hit base, compound gains, and add capital when it's possible. So I don't like to be like, oh, like I'm going to start from 2K and grow this to a million, which is possible, but we're not in the game of growing small accounts. Like we want big money to turn into bigger money. Okay, like I have a TG Max client who is starting out at 3 million. Okay, like they don't care about turning a $2,000 account into a million. They already have 3 million, and in the month of January they made like 60K just taking the alerts from TG Max. So like that's better than like trying to rebuild from 2K. So like add money, right? Add capital. So always add capital, I would say, like, but again, make sure that everything risk management is on tact, okay? And again, like you want to like you don't I never like doing small account challenges because one, it takes forever to build. They're hard. They're extremely hard because you have to be very meticulous. You have to be very like every trade matters. You cannot take a break, like take your foot off the gas pedal because they could just blow out the account, right? So if you have money and you're working, right, add more capital, but don't be reckless. That's the thing. Do not be reckless about it. I said, whether you're trading 150K, I said, this isn't about flipping a small account into a big one overnight, and that's how you blow it up again. This is about discipline and strategic growth. Whether you're trading a 150K account plus or rebuilding from 2K, risk management is everything. It's everything. You will never win if you cannot follow your risk management. Um, Master your position sizing, set a hard drawdown limit, and use leap options to rebuild strategically. I think that is the best way to do this for sure. And I say, if you want that beef, okay, this is just like a call to action to my community. Yeah, like if you're interested in learning and like you need a step by step guide, you can find that in the community. I'll put a link in the description box. But that's pretty much it. Like honestly, if you're starting out at 75K and you're watching this video, or you're starting at 150K and you do not want to blow it down to 2K, please just follow these rules of like stick to 1 to 2% per trade, have a daily max drawdown and a overall max drawdown, okay, from where you're currently at, and then reevaluate if it hits that max. And just focus on leap options. They're honest. Most people don't want to, and they don't have the time to like trade full time, and most people don't want to. Like they have careers that they want to grow, and they have family commitments. They don't want to look at, or even hobbies. They don't want to look at the charts every minute of the day, right? That's not their thing. They just want to make money, and that's fine. And I think the best way to do that is just do leap options, okay? Like, or stocks as well too. They're the same thing. Just find high growth stocks that are undervalued, and then swing the stock, the equity, or just get a leap option, right? I think that's the best way. All right, that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and check out the links below if you want any more information or want to work with me.